So what I tell my younger self is that you actually made something good for you with your life. Um, you actually you are doing it and you are standing out for what you believe. And I'll tell my younger self that there was no need being afraid. You discovered a lot of knowledge that helped you scale through. So yeah, there's no need being afraid. Where it is now. Okay.
So, would like to know, how did your journey into business and self-development start?
How did my journey? Well, business. I think most of it. Well, to be candid, is it will be. I will call it survival. Um, I think my brothers were already into business, and how everybody just trying to help each other. So they just said, "Oh, okay, can you start this social business so that we can help you out? How do we help you out? You have to come out. You know how when you are working on site, you want to help some people and you tell them, okay, can you supply sand or can you supply so and so? So in the quest for however I can be helped, that's how I just started. So my first business was paint production. So I started with producing paint. So that was like, okay, let me be part of the value chain in this real estate business. So that's how I started.
What would you say, maybe from considering your childhood and everything you've seen,
Hmm.
what would you say was the biggest mindset that you had to let go of to be able
Hmm.
to really grow?
Okay, wow. There are many of them, but I think the first one would be um, you are not worthy. Like it's not you. If part of the things, if you grew up, because I'm in self-development space, so I can talk from that angle. If you grow up in not so rich home or an average home or a poor home, whether you like it or not, there is already a success is for them. It's not for us. This is it's a subtle thing that you just catch, because as a child, maybe other people as a child, let's say you are the one that they didn't buy the toys for, but that your rich friend always had toys, always had the good things. So you will just naturally have this mindset of it's not for me, it's for them. If Do you understand? So I think that's the one major thing. So the feeling of unworthiness, the feeling of you are not worthy to be the one that succeeds or that maybe stands out. And for a while, I had to deal with that. I had to deal with being okay and comfortable with being depended on, because you're always the one depending on other people. So now people depend on you. You're like, oh, am I sure you feel like you're not, you're not worthy of that. So yeah, unworthiness.
So you just mentioned that you are a coach, personal development, like you said.
I just found that I developed in my own journey of trying to discover. I'm a very naturally a very curious person. So even when I will ask questions to those that, like some of my siblings that were already maybe into real estate, already doing well before me, I would ask questions, but I always would want to check for myself. And if you tell me to read this book, I would like to go back. It's almost like I took the long route. I always wanted to find out for myself, why is it like this? So why? Okay, they say we should just copy this and just let it. Why does it work? So in discovering why it works, I ended up I became an author because I'm like, oh wow, this is why it worked. Uh-huh. So yeah, so I just discovered things that I felt I wanted to share with people. So that's how I authored my first book, Life Euphoria: How Your Thoughts Create Your Life. So basically that's what it is. That's how I became a coach. So um So now I do content around life, self development. I'm writing, authoring two more books are still around the same, because it's like my greatest discovery, and I'm practically sharing to others. So it comes from a passion. It's yeah, for now it's more like that. So it's because I still very much run my business and do other things. Yeah.
So we all know that being a CEO can be very demanding, and then you are a coach and an
Mm-hmm.
author. So how do you manage all these activities?
Yeah, well, okay. The first thing I said I did, or yeah, was to set up a good structure that runs and set up processes. I insisted on having my SOPs, my operating processes, something like that. So I need to set up the processes and so that they will run without me having to always oversee. Of course, we are still getting perfect in running the processes without me, but I think to a good extent, um, I've handed over the heavy load that used to be on my neck. And I'm a hard worker. There was a time I used to do everything. I'm out there talking to clients. I'm out there talking to proposal. I'm out there doing stuff. I'm practically doing everything. I'm posting on social media. And I used to do all that when I started. And then I'm having meetings. I'm going to search for properties and all those stuff. So I go for site inspection. And I don't think I regret doing that because now, if I'm teaching my staff, I'm telling them, see, these things, I know exactly whatever excuse you want to give, I know exactly what you want to say,
From a
whatever.
place of
So
experience.
that way you don't have excuse because I know what you would say. I know how to first-hand knowledge, how to talk to these people, what to do, and practically everything. So yes, it's a lot of work, but you have to have processes. You have to have processes that can run without you and insist that they work and get people knowing where to hire and when to hire, who to hire, and all that. So I always know, oh, this kind of person I need, this someone to do this so that I can focus on the right thing. So that I can now think and make it work. Because I have to think ahead of what will happen next week, what will happen next month, what will happen next year. So those things. So some people have to be operating while I plan and think. Yeah, so
So we've been all about business, business, business.
mhm.
But as a CEO, would you pick work or vacation?
Well, I think that even if I go on vacation, I'm still kind of working, So you have to get to the point where work is not work. Where work is rewarding enough that it's not stress. So I am always sending messages. Like I'll be maybe about to sleep like 11 earlier. Maybe sometimes I sleep earlier, but let's just say sometimes I wake up. Even this morning, I woke up at was it 2 a.m. and I remembered something and I quickly sent out message to the person. I gave instruction if you will come to work, I do that. And I don't take it as stress. It's not really stress. So of course everybody would like to relax. I like to relax, I like to go on vacation, but somehow actually at this stage of my business, I don't think there is any work-life balance really. Um, However, I still get to say no. I'm not going to work today. No, I'm not going to do this. No, I'll shift this meeting to Monday. Or I'll shift this meeting. There was a time I was working. I was going to my sister over the weekend. There was a time I was always having something to do on a Saturday. But when I decided, these Saturday meetings, I can shift it. And once I shifted it, I just found that I could shift it every time and nothing will happen. There was time I always had something to do every weekend. You are going for inspection, you are going for this, you are going for that. So yes, it doesn't mean that some people in my staff don't come to work on Saturdays or do stuff on Saturdays. Of course, when you are serving high net worth individuals, you have to kind of be at their you work with their schedule, and then one or two
Always
that they can call.
flexible.
Yeah, you have to be flexible enough. So if they say it's Sunday they want to come out, you have to. I've had to come out on a public holiday as provided it's going to be worth my time.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I can one good thing. Some people say, um, I think I saw a post where it say that entrepreneurship, oh, is so that they can have peace of mind. And the person was like, no, there's no peace of mind if you're an entrepreneur. And yeah, it's true, because there's a lot of pressure. um it just what you just have is flexibility. It's not that you are not working every time while you travel and go on vacation. While I traveled earlier in the year, I still was doing Zoom meetings and all that. Do you understand? So but difference is that you have flexibility of time. So yes, of course I would choose vacation, but work and vacation really the
You
same.
still
Yeah, it's at this
it's
point.
still the
Yeah,
same.
so
So outside of work, and since you cannot necessarily relax so much for a vacation at the moment, what
mhm.
would you say are your hobbies? What are things you enjoy to do that do not relate with
To
work at
work.
all?
Oh, um, I like movies. I like talking with friends.
Okay.
So I can be on the phone just talking with friends about different random things. So yeah, so I think the movies and connecting with people. Not so much of a outing person. I go out when I have people. Like someone that asks me what is better, going out. What's about the go? Sorry, how do I spend my weekends? And I said, well, it's not so much about the going out. It is who I am going out with. It's not the place. When the place becomes the focus is when it's like a vacation, something we have not seen before. But if it's not so much about the fancy places, it's about people. So yes, I connect with people. I like to connect with people. I like to talk with people, gist with my friends, and just talk and then watch movies. Yeah.
What's your job?
I'm the administrative officer. She's someone who motivates up and pushes you to be your best.
So if you were to be the CEO of Nigeria, what would you do?
Maybe I'm following her steps.
So you spoke about being an author. Would like to know how many books have you gotten out so far?
One so far, but the other two are in the works. In fact, we are rounding up. So it's still a sequel of the first book, the Life Euphoria series. So it's still around self-development. So the first one generally for everyone. Second one is still for everyone. This one is for those that want to be parents. Now I'm not saying those that are already parents. It's for those that want to be parents. If you are a parent, you are a bit late, but it's still okay. You can still repair. So it's practically Life Euphoria. Second version or second the series is titled "Heal Yourself to Heal Your Child to Heal Your Generation." So it starts with you again. So that's the second one. Then I have another Life Euphoria. This is fiction that a kid can read. So it's for 7 to 10. So it's still the same. How practically a child can now read it, and uh, in fiction format to help them think, think and improve their life, or think and become what they want to become. So yeah.
Now we would
Mhm.
like to know what should we be expecting from your brand, like future projections in the next 3 years.
Hmm. Well, what should you be expecting? Well, of course. Okay. We have um, we are creating new products. We have a digital investment platform by Rich Rick Villas. So it's called Co-own. It allows people to come together and buy property. And we're working on for the platform is up, and so we are working. This is like the early stages, so lots of stuff going on, but it's going on well. Structuring, trying to have it like a stand. What do you call that? To have it like a startup,
Oh,
to run like a proper startup on its own. So under Rich Rick Group, then we'll have that co-owned by Rich Rick. So that's one thing that we have launched, or we have not officially launched it, but we have launched it somehow. So at this point, we are kicking off. So that's one big thing. Of course, um, want to make it big in the future, but there's market for it. So yeah, and of course we want to go as build um, plazas and you know um, hotels and high story buildings and all that. So that's part of what we are working towards in the few coming years. So what I tell my younger self is that you actually made something good for with your life. Um, you actually you are doing it and you are standing out for what you believe. And I'll tell my younger self that there was no need being afraid, because I'll tell my younger self that you discovered a lot of knowledge that's helped you scale through. So yeah, there's no need being afraid. So that's basically what I would say.
Thank you so much for your time. This
Okay.
was really insightful.
Okay. Keep watching New Africa TV. Like, subscribe, and share, please.